Jessica and I were doing a live stream a couple weeks ago, and Hip Hop asked, speaking of capitalism, do you think conventional jobs slowly bleed out creativity, imagination, and energy, and how do you combat that? I'm not the best person to answer this question. I've never actually worked a conventional job. I've been pretty privileged to just do music stuff, but Jessica here, who is my greatest creative inspiration and also a professional musician who spends all her time making stuff, has done many conventional jobs, so I think she's the one to ask.
I was working at 3 jobs that were all really hard and soul-crushing, and I thought if only I had more time, I would make all the albums that I want to make, do all the things I want to do. And then a few years later, I had no job and all the time in the world, and I was still stuck. I learned that the problem wasn't how much free time I had, the problem was me. Here are 10 concepts that have helped me be creative whether I'm busy or not. Step number 1, manufactured inspiration. I found a bunch of things that I can do that make me feel inspired when I get stuck or when I'm having a bad day, and I've drawn them here. So this is something that I keep at my desk, and they're things like listening to music or reading or going to the gym or taking a shower or drinking tea or talking to someone I love on the phone. So when I'm feeling stuck, I'll just look at this again and maybe it'll inspire me to do one of them or remind me of something else that inspires me, and I work my way to get unstuck. Number 2, routine. This is something that I think I am fundamentally against. I was made to be adaptive and to not value routine or any kind of regularity in my life up until adulthood. So I had to learn how to make a routine and how important it is. Routine basically makes it so your brain doesn't have to decide every single decision throughout your day and get tired just deciding if you're gonna eat ice cream or cookies, or looking through Netflix forever deciding which show to watch. All of that gives you decision fatigue. What I've found is routine lays out for me what my day is mainly going to be. I decide the day before, so I have a plan for my free time before I get into it. Number 3, exercises versus pieces of art. If I view something I'm working on as an exercise or an assignment rather than a piece of art or something that I am going to definitely be showing the world, I have a lot more freedom and a lot less fear about making mistakes or spending my time on it even. I feel like I get lost in whatever I'm making a lot more, and it takes a lot of the pressure right out of it. Number 4, basic self-care. So this one is just really obvious. It's the things you've heard your whole life, like sleep enough, eat enough, check in with your mental health. For me, therapy was really good and brought me a lot of happiness and taught me a lot of things that I used to deal with life in a much healthier way. One of those big things is self-talk. So if I was talking to myself in a way that I wouldn't talk to a friend, that was like considered unhealthy. And I think that a lot of artists fall into this category of negative self-talk, and we just say the shittiest things to ourselves. And if you are guilty of that, I think it's something to work on. Number 5, following your anxieties. Weirdly enough, your brain knows the things that you need to work on the most, the things that you're most insecure about, and it tells you all the time in really unhelpful ways. So the things that you are most insecure about with your art or with your life are the things that you probably need to address. I was having a lot of insecurities about my bass playing, and those insecurities led me to practice bass less, which led me to be even more insecure about my bass playing. And once I addressed this insecurity, it was a really painful experience, but I started feeling really good about playing again, and I started remembering what it was like to be excited to practice and remembering what I liked about the instrument that I play the most. Number 6, you're liquid. If you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up, it changes every week. If you ask an adult what they do or what they're interested in, I think that box gets smaller and smaller, and people feel like to be able to have small talk, you have to describe yourself and your interests and your passions all in a sentence or a word. And I found that when I explore things that I'm passionate about, but it don't define me necessarily, I've found a lot of fun and a lot of creativity in places I would have never gone before. I like to do improv comedy, I like to draw, I like to animate, I like to decorate my room. I might not always have time to do all these things, but I let myself do them when I can. Number 7, goals. When you're too caught up in the moment thinking of how you can make your finances work, trying to figure out if you're going to the movies with your friends on the weekend, trying to get enough sleep, you might not take full advantage of what you could do as an artist. And when you make long-term goals, you have even just some kind of roadmap to follow so that you can work your way to where you want to be. Write your goals down. Make sure that they're things you can break down into actionable steps and things you can think about every day. Number 8, time tracking. So on top of goals, I think it's important to look at how you're actually spending your time and how you want to be spending your time and the difference between those two. Time is a real trickster. Sometimes you think you've been working on something for a really long time and you're really into it and you've only been working for 20 minutes. And sometimes you think you've just started but 3 hours have gone by. I think it's important to just keep track so you have the data so you can make good decisions about how you're spending your day. Number 9, find a buddy to talk shop with. It's hard to do creativity on your own, but with a buddy you can hold each other accountable for deadlines and projects, and you can help each other prioritize creativity. Number 10, learn until you're dead. Learn your whole life. Keep learning until you're dead. I have a student who's in his mid-70s, and you'd never know it because he is always opening himself up to new possibilities, and everyone thinks he's 55.
Charlie cut my hair, now my face looks bigger. I'm the only one with a real straight